Look. Humans amaze me, especially radicals. I've always been drawn to crazy, or what a college-educated conservative East Coast white guy thinks is crazy. Like a heat-seeking missile, I lock onto them and gaze in awe. Then I ask them questions and listen in a state of wonderment and bewilderment, trying to reserve judgment, trying and not always succeeding. The smirk gave it away. The audience likes the smirk. They know what I'm thinking because it's exactly what they're thinking. Your issues aren't my issues. Let's keep it that way. No disrespect, much love. This curious and condescending attitude is what's made me a successful cable news personality. Obviously, my ability to deflect and ridicule has helped too. Bake in some fake modesty under the guise of self-deprecation. I think that's how you say it. Guise or something. Squeeze. And you have yourself a winner. Nobody will ever know how insecure I really am. But do insecure people ask for advice? I sure as hell asked for advice when Fox promoted me to the 7 p.m. hour. Before Jesse Waters Primetime launched in January 2022, I called around to the top talent. I called around to all the top talent and listened. This is what they told me. Bill O'Reilly's show, The O'Reilly Factor, always ended with the email segment. Viewers would email comments, and O'Reilly would read chosen ones on air. They had to keep it pithy. I think that's... O'Reilly suggested I bring back that interaction with the audience, which I have. Except now viewers text instead of email. Keeping that connection with the audience is important, he told me. Also, he advised me to give viewers a window into how I felt each night, what I was thinking about, day-to-day stuff. Open up about my personal life a little. Before we end each show with texts, the Waters Window segment is usually me venting for 20 seconds. Unscripted. It usually consists of me pontificating about why women don't like taking out the trash. Is this only a man's job? Sharing a new diet fad. Only eat meat on the bone. Or bragging about how I beat my 11-year-old daughter at ping pong. She's really good. Sean Hannity told me to be myself. You've succeeded by being who you are. Don't change that, he said. Hannity explained that he loves politics. That's his bread and butter, and he sticks with it. Where am I? He doesn't get outside his wheelhouse because he doesn't cover stories if they don't interest him. I've noticed that the audience can tell when you cover a story you don't care about. So I've taken Hannity's advice. Every story on Jesse Waters Primetime is something I personally am interested in. We covered the cover-up of Paul Pelosi's DUI arrest all summer because, you guessed it, I cared. The audience knew I was invested. So did Polly P. Tucker Carlson told me to hit the sauna. If you're faced with getting your mental health right, or preparing for the show, take care of your mental health. Tucker, who dedicated much of his day to reading, writing, and producing the show he hosted at the time, explained that I should shut out the noise. Don't read the comment section. Don't read your press clippings. Focus on you, your show, and your family and friends. Tucker revealed how he doesn't watch TV. When he was getting his show together, he spent time outside in nature as much as possible. This was a valuable lesson. Balance your body and mind. Looking back, I wish I'd listened more carefully to this. I'm not sure if you should listen to Chadsworth Carlson. Laura Ingram revealed how challenging the job would be. My show airs at 10 p.m. Eastern, she said. By that time, each hour, all afternoon and evening, has covered the same story. My challenge is, how do I attack a story from a different angle than everyone else? Laura stressed how important it is to be an original thinker. How are you going to be different? She challenged me. How was I going to distinguish my analysis from the pack? Be creative and unique. This requires constant reflection. Greg Hume told me not to sleep with my assistant. My assistant is a guy, so not an issue. I cast a wide net inside and outside of Fox. Bob Costas. Okay. I'm going to translate with this, alright? I need to know if I'm saying this right.
Costas,
okay. Bob Costas, Brett Baer, Steve Ducey, Anthony Scaramucci, I think that's how you say it, Mark Levin, Greg Gutfeld. I listened to everyone closely. After we launched Jesse Waters Primetime, we had great ratings. Number 3 in all of cable news, averaging over 3 million viewers a night. I was waking up at 5 a.m., working out, reading and writing, getting into the office at 1 p.m., working, co-hosting The Five, hosting Primetime at 7 p.m., coming home, eating dinner, reading, and going to bed like a machine. Then my back went out. Here we go. I already read the introduction beforehand. I'm having to reread it because I was not satisfied with the video. I dropped to the ground in my bathroom. Somehow I made it to the bedroom. I couldn't stand. I couldn't move. The pain crippled me. I screamed in agony. I was a fit guy in my early 40s who ran, swam, and lifted. Now I couldn't walk. The pain was so excruciating my wife called 911. Paramedics rolled me onto a stretcher and wheeled me out of my apartment into an ambulance. You must see some crazy stuff here in New York, I say to the paramedic on the way to the ER. What's the craziest thing you ever saw? Well, probably the Epstein call, he answers. He has my attention now. I forget about the pain for a minute. When we got to his cell, it was packed with people. Nobody should have been in there. It should have been empty. People have moved the body. They've moved things around in the cell. He was dead when we arrived, but they made us rush him out to the hospital like he was going to make it. What do you mean? I asked. Like protocol wasn't followed. His cell was a mess. The scene was a mess. People were there who shouldn't have been there. Nobody is supposed to move the body, touch the body. Items in the cell were being messed with. It wasn't normal. I'm taking mental notes. But before I can get this guy's contact information, I'm taken out of the ambulance and moved through the hospital doors. Almost booked an exclusive on the way to the emergency room. They sticked me in the middle of the ER behind a curtain. New Yorkers are in there with knife wounds. I can't say this right, man. Why can't I speak? New Yorkers are in there with knife wounds, head injuries, and I'm lying on a stretcher with a bad back. They're pumping me full of narcotics to numb the pain. But it's not feeling great. Suddenly there's drama. A hostile homeless woman is making a scene. She's loud and big and naked. She apparently needs to use the bathroom. I peel my curtain back to catch the action. The naked homeless woman is crouched on the toilet with the bathroom door open. She refuses to close the door. When nurses suggest she close it, she screams. She has a list of demands. She's demanding a shower. Had she gotten herself taken to the emergency room in a ruse to take a shower? Unclear. Then all hell breaks loose. The naked homeless woman falls off the toilet and hits her head. She's bleeding. There's a lot of commotion. Security arrives and a negotiation takes place involving her partner, nurses, and hospital security. My mouth is drying up. I don't have any water. Sucks. Alright, I'm turning off that fan. Alright. I don't know how long I can speak in the Jesse Waters impression. I need a private room. I'm getting pretty close to pulling a "don't you know who I am?" Not really, but when the next doctor comes over to ask me my name, I say, "I'm Waters, and this is my world." Doesn't work. Of course it wasn't gonna work. It never works with Johnny, and I'm pretty sure it never worked with Jesse Waters on the street when he did Waters World, you know. I'm Waters, and this is my world. Do you know who I am? Here's Johnny. That don't work either. Hi, Johnny. Well, some people do. Some people don't. Enough ad-libbing or getting off topic. The doctor doesn't watch Fox. He just thinks I'm as crazy as the naked homeless woman now. Eventually I get an MRI and hole up in the hospital for a few days. It's a severely herniated disc. I got an epidural shot. Doesn't help much. I go back to work, can barely get in and out of a car. Have to lie down on a couch in my office while dictating scripts. I see a surgeon. I don't want to, but the pain is unbearable and not getting better. You need surgery right away, he tells me. You've lost sensation in your Achilles. You've lost strength in your right leg. The nerve is screaming. We need to operate. Okay, Doc, I have a speech in D.C. on Friday. Let's do the surgery Saturday. It was Wednesday. You can't risk riding a train to D.C. If anything happens, you could be paralyzed. Emergency surgery it is. I was getting back surgery at 43 years old. This was a wake-up call. For the first time in my life, I was scared. Sitting is the new smoking, the doctor explained. Humans aren't designed to sit all day, he continued. You're sitting all morning, all afternoon, for 2 hours each show. Sitting in between shows, and you're sitting in a car driving on weekends. It's destroying your back. I had been sitting a lot since Fox promoted me to the 7 p.m. What kind of chair are you sitting on at your office? I texted my assistant Johnny to send me a picture. I bought the chair myself. It was a black leather Chesterfield executive swivel desk chair. I bought it for my new office, and Johnny had put it together. I showed the doctor the picture. Look at this. The chair is crooked. It's leaning to the left. It's wrecking your back. Johnny had assembled my chair cockade. It had blown out my back. Another reason not to sleep with my assistant. It's not too funny to me now since I already read it. And also, it's not really funny anyway. Okay. Sorry. Alright. Back to the book. I had a microdiscectomy. Surgery went well. And I was out of work for 2 weeks. Primetime had launched in January. And by April, I was recuperating from emergency back surgery. It took about 5 months to fully recover. My lifestyle completely changed. I walked all day, stretched, and planked. Avoided chairs, cars, and unnecessary sitting. Sitting and reading news feeds on my phone, sitting at a desk, sitting in front of a computer was going to put me back in the hospital. I had to establish new routines for working and living. Excuse me. I had to listen to my... I had to listen to my body, that's what it is. Being aware of my own pain made me aware of other people's pain. When I limped down the street, I noticed others who limped. My eyes were drawn to addicts, foot shufflers, shoulder slumpers. I was becoming more empathetic. Was I becoming more empathetic? No way. Couldn't be. I was only concerned with myself usually. But could waters go deeper? This book tries to. Interviewing wild characters on the street only gets you so deep. It's a 10-minute conversation condensed into a few sound bites for air. Cable TV interviews are even shorter. Really? I was getting close to the core. Why do people believe things? How did they end up with their worldviews? What gave them these radical ideas? I set out looking to interview out of the mainstream Americans. Not debate them, just listen to their life stories. I'd listen for 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4. What I found was that their maverick ideology was rooted in personal struggle. I'd always assumed someone's political belief system was based upon the books they'd read or the media they'd consume. Not entirely. A big factor in a person's policy preference or political identity, formative experiences in their youth. Almost every individual I interviewed had a chaotic childhood. I found that people became descendants for psychological reasons. Their ideology wasn't logical, but the path toward that ideology was. During these interviews, I found myself thinking, of course you believe this. You have daddy issues. Sociopathic parents are creating a strange generation. Parents are drug addicts, sex addicts. Never around. Do you think that child is going to grow up to be a well-adjusted, patriotic voter? Not a chance. Children are being traumatized and then spit out into adulthood. Now they're society's problems. Society's problem. They're our problem. Then their problems become our problems. No wonder people vote the way they do. No wonder they love anarchy. No wonder they hate. Trace a line directly back to their teenage years. Some were raped, others were spoiled. A few got no attention at all. So much that their adult crusade is just a reaction to what they experienced growing up. Many of the characters I interviewed for this project had experienced drugs and alcohol early on. Almost all of them had disastrous parents. Some of the most damaged people had wealthy parents. Money wasn't a major driver of ideology. Class played a larger role, but not in the way you'd think. I noticed much more class rebellion. The family dynamic was key. Sibling rivalries, horrible moms, and ghost dads were consistent features. Whereas I used to smugly judge oddballs, I began feeling sorry for these people. Even the real nasty and dangerous ideologues that I felt sympathetic toward. Because I began to understand them. I understood why they thought about life the way they did. Society would look like that to me too if I had their lives. If my mom was a Motley Crue roadie, whatever, and I took the first hit of crack at 15. People join movements not always because the movement makes logical sense. Oftentimes radicals just want attention. This book examines why. What makes people believe humans are going extinct this century when the science doesn't say that? Maybe they have a savior complex they developed in college. Certain people join cults. Others are straight up mentally ill. A few create injustices just to fight them because their life lacks meaning. This book runs the gamut from true believers to larks, attention whores to academic nihilists. Abuse runs through most of them, psychic and emotional. A lack of respect of others is often justified. Some don't respect themselves, and there's usually a clear reason why. Not everyone I was able to crack. Someone let me. Like the communist. The statue toppler spun my head around. Some of these people are generally harmless. They're just bizarre. But by listening, I can at least say that I understand them. Understanding is impossible without listening. This format could very well have been a podcast. People really opened up to me. Raw stuff. They cried, yelled, laughed. We both got annoyed with each other, but I listened, which is very big of me. What I discovered is that people have issues, and these issues are getting bigger and crazier. And because the way society is now wired, the internet combined with a strain of political correctness, everything is fair game. All the pillars of Western civilization, social customs, behavioral and legal norms, it's open season. Much of the groundswell is projection. People projecting their problems onto the rest of society. Even though your problems aren't my problems, they are, because you're making them my problems. We do not need a social revolution because somebody has personal problems. Your issues aren't our revolution. We're not going to turn everything upside down because somebody needs to act out a revenge fantasy on their father they never had. Get your life under control because you're making the rest of our lives harder. I love you, but just chill. We're not on the same journey. We can't pay the price for your problems. Don't pay me back for your suffering. I had to do it. I had nothing to do with it. How to fix it? Here's a start. Just be better than your parents. For most of you, that's easy. Get it together. And then there's chapter 1. I'm not going to read chapter 1 right now. Where's my bookmark? Oh, there it is. Because I'm tired. I want to go to bed. And my back's hurting. Speaking of, I need to stop sitting so much. I don't want my back to go out. Okay. Thank y'all for watching this first part. I only read the introduction and not the first chapter. If y'all did enjoy and y'all would like to see more, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Is it? Okay, yeah, it's following me. And I'll see y'all next time. Adios. And God bless.